Oh, sorry about that. Hey, uh, let me get the glare. But look at that. All right. Anyway, hello. So, just got out of the Magnificent Seven. It's past midnight. I've been up for God, I don't know how many hours. I had one of those weeks and days where you try to keep so many balls in the air, and you just have days and weeks where you just look at them and go, how many of them did I drop? How many people did I let down by doing it? But this isn't a self-pity party. This is just kind of give you reference as to sometimes you go and see the right movie at the right time, and it helps. You're not feeling real great about life. You're not feeling real great about yourself. You're questioning everything, and then you go see the Magnificent Seven, and boy howdy. And I'm sorry about this. Again, I try to keep this PG because I don't know how many people watch these, but on the off chance someone's watching, there's a kid in the room, I try to keep these PG. But this is one of the greatest examples of a fuck yeah movie. Because you just leave it going, fuck yeah. This movie is great. This is old school westerns. Just pure, straight up badassery. And unapologetic badassery. And you haven't seen a movie like that in a long time. I haven't seen a movie that just, I'm trying to go back and remember kind of those. It's almost like an '80s movie, like something like Rocky IV. A movie with a plot that's so stupid, but it's one of those yeah dog kind of movies. Please forget I said yeah dog. It's after midnight. I've been up for a long time, so I'm really uncensored right now. Some people might find it funny that I'm a big endorser of this film, considering my normal stance on remakes. Well, first off, it's hard to get mad at this one because it's a remake of a remake. The original Magnificent Seven's a remake of the Seven Samurai, and this is hypocritical of me, but I'd never really seen the original Magnificent Seven, so I had no connection to it. So I don't know how to compare it, but I can say this movie just gets it. We haven't had a really great Western since Tombstone, in my opinion. Tombstone being one of the all-time great Westerns, as far as I'm concerned. And we haven't had a really great one in a long time. And Westerns are one of those genres that have kind of died out a little bit. So when you get one, it's a novelty. And sometimes you get the novelty, and it's a great thing. Other times you get it, and it's crap. Like The Lone Ranger. That could have been a whole new rebirth for Westerns. And instead it was one of the biggest disasters anyone's ever laid eyes on. This thing goes the opposite way. This thing, man, I just can't really put into words why this movie is so awesome, other than it just takes everything that was cool about the concept of the Western and just turns the dial up. And like I say, everything that's great about a Western, the long, really beautiful shots, the shot of the lone gunman, silhouetted against the rising sun, shots of these guys riding in, this little town fighting back against impossible odds, all this stuff that, just very cliche Western stuff. And this movie kind of looks you in the eyes and says, yeah, it's a cliche, and it's a badass one, and watch us do it freaking awesome. So anyway, the plot as it is there's this little town, and there's this rich jerk who, wants to mine it. So he's basically hired a thug army to go in and intimidate all these people. So one of the widows of the town goes and recruits these seven badasses to come in and basically fight for. And it's Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, and a bunch of new guys that I haven't heard of before. And it's like just this old school, almost like Predator again, again an 80s film. This old school man movie, just seven badasses being badass, and without technology, without kind of the Avengers kind of thing. These are just seven guys going out and kicking a lot of ass, and it's freaking awesome. It is that kind of movie you're watching going, oh yeah, it's really hard not to cheer at the end. Is it perfect? No, of course not. No movie's perfect. My only major complaint about it is that, and again, I think I've become spoiled with films like The Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy or any of these kind of ensemble films where either all the characters have had, or most of the characters have had separate movies establishing them, or the movie takes time to establish them. Like, obviously Avengers had, four of those guys had their own movies. Guardians of the Galaxy took time to kind of get you to know all of the characters, so you had a connection to them. This one doesn't do that as well. Like, there's a couple of characters that are very underdeveloped, and they're just kind of there. Not quite as bad as like Slipknot in Suicide Squad, but kind of along that same deal of, they're there, they have a name, but they don't really get a lot of scenes or any kind of backstory dedicated to them. They're just kind of to fill out the numbers, basically, so it can be the Magnificent Seven. But, for some reason that doesn't necessarily bother me, except I'm going to spoil the movie a little bit here for you. So, spoiler alert, the only thing that kind of makes you mad about that is that it's the underdeveloped characters who survive and make it through to the end. So that's kind of like, but I guess, that shows, they built up the characters you like. But each one of them kind of has a neat personality. They are distinct in kind of their cliches. Denzel Washington is the leader. He's a bounty hunter. Chris Pratt is basically the same character he's been playing since Guardian of the Galaxy. Ethan Hawke is like a former Confederate sharpshooter who's got like kind of post-traumatic stress, and he's got like a Japanese buddy who, the character's name is Billy Rock, who's like this expert knife thrower and all that. He's cool. There's a Mexican outlaw who joins up with him. There's a Native American guy who I don't know if they ever even said his name in the movie. And then there's Vincent D'Onofrio, who recently has got a lot of fame as playing Kingpin in the Daredevil show, as this big old fat, very soft-spoken mountain man who like just beats the crap out of people. But he's like really soft-spoken and quotes the Bible. And I don't know why, but that was like my favorite character in the movie. He was just so, I don't know what it is about him. Again, very underdeveloped. They give you this hint that there's this backstory, but you don't really get any explanation about it. And I guess it's one of those films where you don't really need a lot of it. You just need to know these are the guys, this is their skill set, and this is how their skill set is going to help you, down the road. So it's not big on the character development, but all the guys kind of play their cliches so well, and the director does a really great job. I can never pronounce the guy's name who directed it. Same guy who directed Training Day, which should make sense since it has Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington in it. But he directs it really well. It's like, it is fast cut. It is very high energy, but not in one of those ways where you can't see what's going on. The only thing, this isn't like a bad thing, it's just kind of one of those things you laugh about. So this movie basically about all these guys getting together and trying to stop this evil dude from destroying this little town. Okay, great. Well, it's fun, but it is one of those movies that by the end, the little town is so shot up, burnt down, and destroyed. You're like, did we really do that good? I mean, aside from the fact that I guess now they're free to rebuild. So yeah, this is one of those great. Again, I classify this in being very sexist and very kind of, I don't mean to be rude or insensitive, but this is what I would classify as just an 80s style man movie. Not that women can't enjoy it, and they do have, I'm very happy to say, they do have the strong, independent woman who is actually a really well-written and well-acted character. I don't know the name of the actress who plays her. It's one of those names that I guess she's new, coming up, so I haven't heard it enough time to have it burned into my memory. But she does a really good job, and they do a really nice job writing her against these 7 dudes. You know, she's not the damsel in distress. You know, she's not this weakling who's running to the men for everything. They don't make a big deal out of her wanting to fight, you know. So I felt like that was a really well-written character, and in an action genre, that's hard to do for women. I mean, that's hard to do for women apparently in any genre, but especially in a bang-bang, shoot-'em-up, old-school Western, it's hard to write strong characters for women just that fit with the time and don't feel like they're so anachronistic that they don't fit within the world of the movie. And I think they did a nice job of it here. She wasn't, I guess that's another thing. I guess that is kind of weird, that these characters had names, but a lot of them I can't remember their names. I can't remember her name. I know Chris Pratt's character is named Faraday just because I have a friend, Rachel Faraday, so every time I hear Faraday, I remember it. And I know Ethan Hawke's character was Goodnight something, like his name was Goodnight. And the Asian guy was Billy Rocks, which is a great name. Billy Rocks, I love that. Anyway, so yeah, old school man movie. Just meaning, and what I mean by man movies is not that it's only a movie men can like. What I mean, it's, as I said, it's one of those unapologetic, balls to the wall, great action, just straight up badassery, much in the same style of, you know, like I say, the later Rocky movies or Predator, or, you know, basically any Schwarzenegger film from the 80s, you know, Commando. One of those movies where, like, you know, these guys are just too badass to really, you know, be, but it's grounded in just enough reality that you can go, okay, I totally dig this. And like I say, shot very intelligently. The energy and the kind of, you know, gearing you up, all it needed was a hearty rock anthem to really get you going. But confident enough in itself, confident enough in the style of film it was trying to be, and like I say, just taking advantage of every Western cliche and just having the greatest time. I guess that's maybe why I like this movie so much. Is, I guess, and maybe that's why films like Predator and all that hit you so well, is because it really does feel like a bunch of people getting together to play cowboys. You know, you can tell, at least from this, I mean, if they didn't, I'd be really surprised, that everybody involved in this was just having a blast. That the bad guy is so over the top evil, he might as well be a Bond villain. You know, the good guys are just so cool and so confident. You know, and like I say, it really does remind you of getting together with your friends and playing cowboys and Indians. No offense. You know, back when you were kids. I know kids don't do that anymore. You know, they play it on their phones. But, you know, it really does give you that that feeling of, when you and your friends, or at least when me and my school friends used to like get together. I'm gonna be this guy, and my power and my ability is I can shoot anything anywhere. Well, I've got the axe, and I can throw the axe here. Like you really just feel like a bunch of kids got together, sketched out these characters, and gave it to these adults to play, like something out of Face Off. So yeah, I'm kind of vamping just for time, just because I'm just a few blocks away. So I don't want to try to reach over and turn off the camera in the middle of traffic, even though it's like 12:30 at night and there's barely any traffic out. Just bear with me for another couple minutes till I get to my apartment. But yeah, so recommend the hell out of this, especially if you've had kind of the weekend day that I've had. This is one of those pepper up movies. This is one of those movies that gets your blood going and makes you go, yeah, life can be bad, but you know what? Sometimes a little awesome goes a long, long way. Easy critique to make, obviously. Would I buy this on DVD? Oh, hell to the yes. This is what I came out of the theater going, is it on DVD yet? Can I buy this? Because I want this. I need this on my movie rack. This movie was so good. Like I said at the very beginning, I've never seen the original Magnificent Seven. I want to see the original Magnificent Seven. I want to go out, and maybe I'm going to do that tomorrow. I am going to go out, I'm going to buy that movie, and I'm going to watch it. Because this movie just rocked that much. And like I say, this isn't a work of art. This isn't, you're going for any kind of deep conversation. This is a movie. This is a summer blockbuster. Why the hell was this not released in the summer? This is like 1,000 times better than any of the crap they put out over this summer. Honest to God, in this summer of weak-ass reboots, sequels, and whatever else, this movie would have cleaned up. This movie was like, this is what a popcorn summer blockbuster should be. Intelligent enough so that, you don't feel like you're being talked down to, but knowing its audience enough to go, this is just fun. None of these characters, they all had motivations, but none of them were, wrestling with the moral obligation of what they were doing, or trying to come to terms with the harshness of life and reality. Oh, I have taken a life. How do I live with myself? Brood. None of that crap. These guys are like, yeah, I've shot guys. I'm going to shoot a lot more before the day's done. It had just enough character development in there, just enough so that you could connect with the characters and have a good time watching them do things. But it didn't feel like it needed to drag you down into this pit of melodramatic brooding crap that we've seen from Tarzan, Superman, Batman, and James Bond as of late. So this movie had the balls to say, we're going to have a good time, and you're going to have a good time watching us. So, yeah, Brandon recommends the hell out of the Magnificent Seven. Great film, and like I say, especially when you've had the day and the week that I've had. So, you know what? Thank you, Magnificent Seven. This was what I needed to feel good. And you did it, and I'm really happy. So I say to you, go see the Magnificent Seven and have a good time doing it. Until then, drive safe, and I'm going to see you at the movies.